Okay, welcome, and I will say welcome once again. This is the Rethinking Lagos show live on your number one family radio station, of course. It's Inspiration FM 92.3. My name is Stanley Uche, and as usual, I have Mr. Deji in the building. Mr.
Hi,
Deji,
Stan.
good morning. How you doing?
I'm fine.
All right, today is going to be, should I put it, amazing. I mean, when he called me and said, Stanley, this is what we're talking about today, I was all, I was like, yes, finally, we're going to talk about this again. And you might be wondering, what is this? Well, it is flooding and infrastructure in Lagos.
Today we're talking about flooding and infrastructure in Lagos.
And you know as much as I do that flooding is one big problem we face every day.
Yeah. So it's about time that we face it squarely and begin to rethink our strategies towards addressing these issues.
Yeah.
And I would be talking too much today.
Yes, but the thing is, some will say, well, some of your opinion that, well, when we have issue of drainages, the design and design infrastructures and everything. But some will also argue that, okay, fine, we have some drainages that you might think is truly good, world standard, but where are they heading? Yeah, and we have somebody in the studio who will do justice to that. And that's why I'm happy today.
It's somebody I respect so much. He's been very, very influential in to what we do at Rethinking Cities. His name is Mr. Lookman Oshodi. He is a Commonwealth Professional Fellow. Professional Fellow, sorry. Is the project director of Arctic Infrastructure, a private organization with broad focus on infrastructure delivery, urban development, and environment. He has a wealth of experience in different areas of infrastructure, ranging from housing, transportation, energy, water, and sanitation. His profile goes on and on. I just have to stop there. Mr. Shudi, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning.
Nice to have you here. Eventually, I've been trying to track him down, but he's been all over one conference or the other.
Yeah, he's a very busy person. You need to understand that.
We actually started this conversation using Adeniji Adele Estate as a reference point. And last week, we played the sound bite from the federal legislator representing that constituency, Mr. Kayode, Honorable Kayode Akinpelu. He responded that he's working with the Office for Ecological Fund in Abuja, trying to see what they can do about the estate. Also during the week, the Honorable Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Town Planner Idris Saloko, also responded on Twitter saying that the government is already looking at a plan for the place. But our advocacy and our advocacy still continues on that platform. We need the government to respond quick and fast. Is a state of emergency, and it is not just that place that is affected. There are several other places, and Mr. Lookman is going to be helping us to look at that on this edition of the program. So, like we said, we're talking about flooding and infrastructure development in Lagos. Mr. Oshodi, straight to the point. Flooding in Lagos. What is responsible? What's the situation analysis? Let me just put it that way.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we need to start by first understanding where we are right now. In my opinion, as I can look at the city is in environmental crisis as we speak now. And we must understand the DNA of Lagos as a city. Being a coastal city, that really put Lagos at a very huge risk of environmental crisis. And of course, globally, the issue of climate change is not something that is localized. It's becoming a big issue at a global scale to really resolve. So the struggle now is to keep the temperature at about 1.5 degrees centigrade. So while that struggle is ongoing, quite a number of ice are melting in the Arctic, Antarctic region and all that. So all these are leading to rising level of water, which Lagos will definitely have its own fair share. So as we speak now, water is rising and of course it's affecting a whole lot of issues within the city of Lagos. Now another area is that the type of urban architecture we have, our urban planning system, for a very long time, we have accumulation of wrong urban planning approaches.
Okay.
And in a way, that is really affecting where we are in terms of a flooding issue in the city of Lagos. So urban planning has really focused on the concrete aspects of development. The issue of a nature-based solution, the issue of absorption zone, the issue of increasing the footprint of a wetland, all those things have been completely ignored. So we are now dealing with fighting with water, which shouldn't be. Our adaptation strategies remain very minimal compared to what the city need. A city scale on the scale of what we have in Lagos, you have a larger footprint of a wetland in different areas. I mean, different parts of the city. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Then we equally look at our drainage infrastructure. As of today, the drainage infrastructure is grossly inadequate to really meet the need of the city. That is one part. The second part is that the existing one, the level of maintenance is absolutely low. So when you have how these factors are playing out, definitely over a period of time, we've not been able to do the needful as a city. So all these are now coming together to become what we have as an environmental crisis in the area of flooding as of today.
Okay, so for clarification's sake, you said we focus so much on concrete. Are you talking about housing development is as against protection of natural habitations and co? Because you use the word concrete.
Yes.
So what do you really mean by concrete? If you can just quickly expatiate on
yes.
that.
What I mean by concrete development is that, for example, if you look at Aboru, Ipaja, and all those sections, you will see the intensity of a development in those areas.
Yeah.
In terms of what is coming up. Little will you see what we can call a green area.
So are you saying that there are some areas in Lagos that shouldn't be developed in any way?
Yes. We
need to know the areas. So
it should be a deliberate strategy of creating that green area.
Okay.
For example, if you look at a wetland around Ajegule, Owode Onirin, and all those places, those should be the reserved wetland where water can move freely, where water can interact. But if you go to that point today, it has become a fully developed community. So, and the response is that they need to fight with water from time to time.
What about a place like New Road, just before VGC? Where I think after Egwefon, New Road, leading to this Alpha Beach or something.
Yes, the problem in that corridor is that the system of planning has not been able to respond to emerging structure within that axis effectively.
Okay.
Because as it is now, it appears that yes, everyone appears to be on its own, doing things in their own way. So, and quite a number of drainage infrastructure or plan put in place have been completely compromised in that axis.
Okay.
So, and take into consideration that the water is fast coming back to the land. That's a true Atlantic Ocean. Atlantic Ocean is claiming substantial part of the land as we speak.
Okay.
So, Lekki for some time, Lekki axis. So that a big
what's heat if you ask?
Yes, exactly. And they will have that experience for some time. So in the next 2-3 years, if a Lagos state government will even double its capacity to be able to do a lot of work around the drainage channels, they may not be able to achieve something concrete within that axis in the next 2-3 years. Maybe after 3 years, if they work day, night, 24 hours in a day, focusing on the flooding issue around that axis, then we could begin to see some level of result.
Yeah. Okay.
But for now, it's a whole lot.
But would you even blame people? Everybody wants to move over here. Everybody wants to come to Lagos. Everyone wants to live here in Lagos. Why? Because of opportunities here in Lagos. Now, is it you wouldn't blame the people or the government? They don't, like you just said something about putting blueprint in place where we know that people will definitely come to Lagos. And Lagos is expanding every day, so they should have place something or put something on ground to let people know that this is what we have here. This particular area, you don't need to build here, don't need to do this. Even if you're going to build here, this is what you need to do. And if it's too much, this is what is too much for that particular area. Or just avoid this area totally. This is the areas you need to go and settle if you want to settle here in Lagos.
So maybe you use the opportunity to speak about the drainage master plan for Lagos.
Yeah, the issue is that the drainage master plan was prepared, and of course it was very elaborate and quite very vibrant in terms of how it will be implemented. But one thing we need to note is that here in this part of the world, there is a popular belief that we always create plans. We are not short of a very fantastic plans. But unfortunately, at the level of implementation, we had a very serious issue around that area. So when we have a drainage master plans, the level of realities in terms of implementation, I can say maybe about 20% of that plan has been implemented.
Only 20%?
Only 20%, so to say. So, but now the issue is that the city itself is not really anticipating a certain level of growth. Let's take, for example, the closure of a border as it is today. What effect will that have on the city of Lagos regarding flooding and all that? We need to know that economy of those border countries, Benin Republic and all that, in a way, they are quite linked to the economy of Lagos or even Nigeria. So, and if economy is maybe collapsing there, people will want to feel like, oh, yes, let us migrate.
The next city is Lagos.
Yes, the next city is Lagos. They'll be coming in. And as they are coming in, they'll be coming with quite a number of pressure in different parts of Lagos, which will be more of informal and slum communities. And if you understand the development dynamics in the slum communities, in most cases, the official rules, the regulations, all those things are not there. The infrastructure to manage waste, to manage flooding, all those things are not there. And of course, there is a market interplay within those slum and informal communities. So the people who are migrating from this country, they will be coming in, they will settle there with additional pressure on a waste management system, with additional pressure on a flooding management scenario. Housing. Exactly. So definitely, in due course, the problem may be more compounded with people who will be coming in. And take notice that we have people who are coming from interland part of the country already due to one crisis or the other or security issue, and of course to seek a greener pasture in Lagos. So with all this, so the response mechanism of the state government, I do not see that as being adequate. To really meet with the pressure, demand, and all that. Exactly.
Like you said 20% of the drainage master plan is probably what has been achieved. So what is responsible for this? What I know you have a report that you did on this. Who was actually responsible for this poor state of drainage infrastructure in Lagos?
Well, number one is that the institutional framework to really implement that plan, I think at a point it was distorted. When you begin to move a different office of drainage services, office of environmental services, and begin to really put them where they cannot really perform effectively. And if you don't have a strong institution that can really look at the fundamental issues in any plan and be able to really come up with that approaches of implementation, definitely you are not going to get it right. Another issue is the issue of budget frame allocation, funding of a data plan, which is very key. You know, drainage in most cases is more of a social infrastructure that a government has a data responsibility
to provide.
Exactly. So, and where government fail to make a data budgetary provision for that, definitely implementation will remain at a very low level. Sometime around 2018 or so, when we had a budget of 5 million naira to deal with drainage flooding issues in the city of Lagos, a city of more than 20 million, you have a budget of about 5 million naira. So you don't even need a soothsayer to say that yes, this is not going to work. Yeah. Exactly, this is going to fail. You don't need any soothsayer. So with all those factors, definitely, you know, and of course, another issue is that when you talk about drainage, the way we put up the plan, we didn't really develop what we may call canal culture.
canal culture.
Yes, in this part of the world. Globally, when you have a coastal city like Lagos, water should flow freely
and head somewhere.
Yes,
because sometimes you see drainages,
exactly.
they don't lead to anywhere. They just open these holes and just cement them, make them look nice, but they're heading to nowhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about today, flooding and infrastructures in Lagos.
Mr. Oshodi, what would you say to our development plan? Is it consistent with our development reality?
Our development reality is in sharp contrast with our development plan. Number one is that we are yet to have a very...
Sorry, hold that thought. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Your name and where you calling from?
I'm Godwin from Ikeja.
All right, Mr. Godwin, let's have your thoughts.
Yes. You see, every one of us from our various places, street to street, they clean our surface gutter, which we have seen. Why the local government will help us to clean the underground gutter, we call it a canal, that link to the canal, or other underground gutters, those large ones. Then channel it to the bigger ones, like the canal that lead to the lagoon, all those places. Then clear the way up to the lagoon. If you can do that project, then we ourselves, we must have the culture of not to throw plastic bottle, water things on this drainage, so those things are able to flow easily. So I think that will be better.
All right. Yes, all right, thank you very much, Mr. Godwin. Thank you very much for contributing this morning. You just heard him, right?
Yeah, I think just in quick response to what Mr. Godwin said, I think he's very right on point. But then the awareness about PET bottles, throwing deaths into the gutter and all that, I think the biggest awareness anyone can do for any resident in a particular community is to make that infrastructure available. You know, if you tell me don't dump this in the gutter or in the drainage channel and all that, then you are equally telling me that, yes, this is the alternative. This is where you can dump it. But in the absence of those infrastructure or facility that could manage or capture those waste, definitely awareness will play little role.
Okay. Let me probably paint a clearer picture. So if we are packing waste in your neighborhood in a bag somewhere, and the agency responsible to come and pick up the waste, or the PSP responsible to come and pick up the waste doesn't show up or does not show up at all,
Yes.
What would happen? So we have quite a number of low-income communities that don't have access to the services of PSP.
All right.
So you see on social media, capturing videos of people dumping waste into the gutters and all of that. And why? Because you have a poor waste management approach. Exactly. So, talking about drainages, the Lagos State Governor recently declared the state of emergency on the roads. Do we need a state of emergency on drainage infrastructure in Lagos, as in massively going out to fix drainage systems? Because you are fixing the road, you are filling potholes, but nothing is being done about the drainage system. Are you going to solve the problem at the end of the day? I don't think so. When the rain comes, what's your opinion?
Well, I think the potholes, whatever we are dealing with, a road collapse, infrastructure collapse, we are dealing with in the city of Lagos as it is now, it's more of a derivative issue from flooding and all that. And in my opinion, would have been that the governor could have expanded that state of emergency to cover drainage and flooding issue. But now we are dealing with a road. But then I don't see how that road will be sustainable without really addressing the issue of flooding. My take is that for now, perhaps maybe sometime next year, the administration need to make a very strong appeal to the residents of Lagos to say, you know what, we are in this together. And for this, because the city is getting to the level of what we call a diminishing return. Yes, the city is getting to that level. And then when you are at that level, you need to really have that holistic approach of dealing with the issue. And what I may suggest is that governor could say, for the next 1 year, we want to have some level of a shutdown in the city of Lagos. That shutdown could be in the form of environmental sanitation we normally had in those days. A strong appeal needs to go to the residents that if we don't do this, we will sometime get to that point where city itself will do it. And if city itself is doing it, definitely we'll be dealing with more crisis. So that within that 1 year could be every Saturday from 6 a.m. to about 12 p.m. or whatever time they may want to choose. So the action to be taken will focus on not just flooding, but the entire gamut of development issues in the city of Lagos. Perhaps we'll be dealing with a waste management issue. A lot of sludge, a lot of waste need to be evacuated. During that process, you wouldn't want your truck that will be going back and forth to be struggling on the road with different cars here and there. You will want the road to be free so that they can focus on those issues and tackle them once for all. So within 1 year, we should be able to come back. All the MDAs, education, health, physical planning, we now come back and say, where are we? What have we achieved? But before declaring or pleading with the residents for such a period, definitely all actions, all the plans must have been on ground. Every MDAs must be ready to be part of that process and really to say, yes, within 6 months, within 1 year, this is what we've been able to achieve.
Great. So, are there any lessons for Lagos from other mega cities around the world in terms of addressing this problem?
Yes. There are quite a number of lessons for Lagos. One is what we call nature-based solutions. Lagos need to look at that approaches. Those type of approaches critically. Nature-based solution is that how do we use our green area? How do we integrate a green development into whatever we are doing in the area of a city development? So Lagos is not there yet, but as a city within water, Lagos need to move in that direction. There is a critical need for the city.
Wetland protection.
Wetland protection and deliberately creating green area in so many parts of Lagos. Yes, we don't have that right now. Then I talk about canal culture the other time. Globally, in many cities that has water, what they do now is that canal is part of entertainment and tourism infrastructure.
Okay.
So because they believe that with that, tourist comes in, they bring their visitors' expenditure, get a revenue for the city and all that. All the tourists need to do is to harm themselves with their cameras and things like that. And they move around the canal, they are able to fill the city and all that. So with that at the back of in the mind of city administrators and all that. So they focus on keeping the canal healthy, keeping the canal functional from time to time. So it's not really about moving stormwater from one point of the city to the other will be the function of the canal. Because it is generating visitors' expenditure, it now has another purpose, which will keep the highs of a city administrators.
I think I had that experience in Berlin.
Exactly.
We're on boats through a canal. We're just moving, and while you're on that canal, you explore the city to the right, to the left.
Because it's clean. You enjoy it, right?
Yes,
but here, do we have that? Do we have that on ground to make sure this, whatever we're talking about, this canal?
That we have a green canal park between Bagada down to as far as Bagada down to Okwebi. Is a wetland. That you can explore for transportation, a cycling lane, and all of that. So how real is this issue of climate change? It's a bit of an upbit of what we're talking about to the city of Lagos. I don't hear government officials here talk more about climate change action by the state government. We're always just talking development, road, but we are not doing things from the perspective of climate change as a response to climate change. How important is this to the city of Lagos to take up and to have a climate change action?
To any cities globally, the issue of climate change has become so important, so crucial as it is. And so far, although the city of Lagos in the past maybe 4 years, 5 years or so to say, there has been a very scaled down attention to issue of climate change in the city of Lagos. But now I understand that a climate change action plan is being developed. So, but in developing that action plan, some of the infrastructure that will be coming up too, we need to understand how resilient are they, how climate resilience are they, and of course how adaptive or mitigative are they to be able to really withstand some level of pressure that will be coming from climate change. I mentioned earlier that globally, the struggle is to keep the temperature to about 1.5. Some argue that it should be at 2 degrees and all that. But be that as it may, we could see that water is faster rising globally, and Lagos is not an exception to this phenomenon. So in a way, yes, exactly. So in a way, Lagos need to double its effort, both in the adaptation and the mitigation strategies. Lagos need to be there.
Interesting. Thank you so much for your time. I think it's been a wonderful discussion. Clearly, we have a lack of funding in this area of flood management in Lagos. We need to approach, revisit the development of drainage systems. Clearly spelling out what the plans are, letting the public know where development should happen, where it shouldn't happen. People should be able to report. All these things, and maybe we didn't touch more on that. There is really the need for us to have stakeholders engagement, community engagement, engaging with local communities who are having these serious flooding issues,
and let them know what to do as individuals to help the effect of flooding. You see people every day, they just come out, they throw stuff into the drainage and do all kinds of stuff into the drainage, and you wonder when it starts raining now, because in Lagos when it rains, it pours. When they start seeing things like that, they start wondering what is going on. They didn't, not knowing that that's what they did weeks back or months back. This is just what we're seeing now. Yeah, still coming back. So I think that's what we need to do. Besides that, do you think they should be given some kind of incentive? If the government should come up with a plan, say, look, do not do this. If you do this the right way,
I think that was part of what we're talking about.
You get this, you get this, you get that.
I think incentive is yet to be part of our system. We are yet to really build that as a part of the development delivery system. In Surabaya, in Indonesia, when you get into a bus, you could actually pay for your bus fare with PET bottles that you'll be able to collect in your neighborhood.
Wow.
Use that to exchange for life.
That's amazing.
I think we mentioned that last week.
Yes.
So the conversation continues.
Yes.
I think we're running out of time now.
Yes,
the conversation continues on Twitter. You can join us at Rethinking CI. Rethinking CI on Twitter. We take it up there. This week we're going to be talking a whole lot more about what the government can do at Adeniji Adele Estate and Divine Estate. These are estates that are getting submerged by water and that requires the urgent attention of the government. Thank you so much, Mr. Lookman, and thank you, Stan, for the lovely show.
Thank you very much. We do this again same time next week. Remember, it's 9:30 on Inspiration FM 92.3.